is just fantastic.
Captain's Log, Subdates 210831.6. The main point of this series is to give justice its day, yet rarely have we encountered this, which has led to cubes getting a little full, so let's see if today is any better. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we welcome no one. It would be inmate 086, but as the inmate who was supposed to be an inmate but is not an inmate was given a rather petty, pathetic sentence, because of a few mitigating factors of course, we are not welcoming this person to the ISO cubes. This person is called Luke Edwards-Meredith of Birkenhead, Merseyside. And just because I want to put this out there before we go into the context of what Luke Edwards-Meredith has done, or did do, you know you've screwed up when half of an entire city's fire department are called to deal with your handiwork. Handiwork that takes over 12 hours to contain, that utterly annihilates one building so it's near uninhabitable, and leaves enough marks on the other one which was meant to be torn down anyway. You know though at the same time, the criminal joke system is doing its job when justice is treated like a joke, on a technicality. So for this story we now insert Luke, who just so happened to be near the events that caused a considerable amount of earlier mentioned damage. In this, he is hardly innocent. At the age of 17, in Birkenhead on August the 24th, 2019, for a dare, apparently, and within the space of 1 hour, Luke had set fire to an empty barber shop, the former Hotel California, and Revolver pub. But to do this, he had to break in. Now, the reason he broke into the barbers was because he was angry and needed a place to calm down. His way of calming down is to set things on fire, because he's a little pyromaniac with a lighter in his pocket. Initially, he was just burning bits of paper to calm himself, and as the fire escalated, he sat and watched, because he found it really soothing. I personally find fishing does a better job and is nowhere near as destructive. You might want to consider taking it up as a hobby. Now, in the case of the barbers, Luke had later conceded he had never intended to burn the building down, but because he had lost track of time and the fire grew out of control, he couldn't put it out. So he left. Now, to start a fire at the Revolver pub, there was a bit of a gap, because initially Luke had gone back to the Hive Youth Zone social club, where he told some friends about what he did at the barbers. They then went to the old bar. Luke broke in through the fence, went inside and started to burn wallpaper and wood, which, much like with the case of the barbers, caused another fire that was way out of control for him. So he and the friends fled. 28 people called local emergency services, and it took the firefighters half of all Merseyside fire and rescue services, which is 50 firefighters attending 2 fires. Took 5 hours to put out the fire, causing £35,000 worth of damage, which also left the building structurally unsafe at the barbers. And at the bar, which is a building that was meant to come down anyway, so you can't truly quantify how much damage was done, it took 7 hours to stop the fire from spreading and control it. To put out the bar, it took 8 fire engines and an aerial appliance just to get it down, which is an impressive amount of resources being used for one little pyromaniac. A member of staff at the Hive Youth Zone social club contacted the police and told them that those children and Luke Edwards-Meredith were possibly responsible. Officers then arrested Luke, who replied, "I was near the place but I didn't do anything," with a lighter in his pocket. The police then contacted Luke's mother, who said that she believed he was responsible because he at home had a tendency to have sudden outbursts and cause damage to their home. So upon being delivered at the police station, he was subjected to an interview, and in the interview, he confessed to starting both fires But he had a killer excuse, everyone. A friend had dared him to start the fire, along with explaining that the fires calmed him down, and that once they were out of control, he fled. Because, he couldn't do anything about it at that point. He was just sat there staring at the fire. Along with Luke Edwards-Meredith, a 16-year-old boy was also arrested over the fires, but was then released without charge. Now there is a considerable gap between that and then presently, and the reason why is, well, there are a number of excuses actually why this didn't go to trial sooner. For example, the first police officer in the case had retired. A second police officer took over in December 2019. The police couldn't contact the owners of the barbers in Saudi Arabia to even ask what was in the building. Forensic examination of the lighter proved inconclusive. There were then delays due to the pandemic, and also because a child witness at the Hive, had died. All of this means that when Luke Edwards-Meredith went to trial, he went to trial as a 19-year-old and not the 17-year-old that committed the crime. I'm also going to insert this now. Luke Edwards-Meredith has ADHD, which causes many people who suffer from ADHD to be very impulsive and not think before they act. This very same ADHD plays a key part in the, air quotes, sentencing later, end air quotes. It is worth adding now that I believe he should have been tried as a juvenile, because that is what he was when he committed the crime. Also because of that, his criminal record would be different to what it is now, because he wouldn't have a criminal record, he would have a youth referral order, which means there is less chance he will suffer from later issues when it comes to getting a job. John Wheat, who was defending Luke in court, asked the judge to take into account his age, immaturity, troubles, air quotes, the 2-year delay, its impact on him, and the fact that he had kept out of trouble since, and of course to spare him jail, with him saying that Edwards-Meredith had since decided not to socialise and stay at home. I don't think he had much of a choice since lockdown took over all of 2020 and most of this year, but alright. And he thought this was the safest thing to do. Government mandated, so yes. But now he had a girlfriend and hoped to get a job, all of which did in fact impact what Judge Brian Cummings QC saw. Because Luke Edwards-Meredith was in fact found guilty, yes. And the sentence reflected a level of clemency due to the issues with evidence, due to the issues that Luke himself has. When a psych eval was done, it found there would be significant risks in terms of deterioration of Luke's mental state were him to be sent into custody immediately. I'm sure many people are rolling their eyes when they see that. I'm one of them, but okay, we'll continue regardless. Luke Edwards-Meredith was found guilty of arson, and with this comes a sentence. The sentence that Judge Cummings gave him was 8 months detention, suspended for 2 years, a 25-day rehabilitation activity requirement, along with 100 hours of unpaid work. Might I recommend, for those 100 hours of unpaid work, he take down that building he burnt. You know, the one that was already going to be knocked down anyway. Brick by brick. Although, to be honest, my sentence would be different. We're going to age you backwards, back to 17. And we're going to make you spend 2 years in a juvie cube, even though you'll be an adult for one of those years. Don't worry, we'll age you back again so you're 17 for 2 straight years. When you leave, we're going to give you your 25-day rehabilitation activity, and you're going to do 100 hours of unpaid work on Titan. So I guess we're not going to need this cell today, which is a strange event really, isn't it? Now, as we're done, I'd like to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. Hope you'll have a fantastic day, and thank you all very much for listening.